So are we gonna redo all of the stuff we were talking
Sell
about
out.
today? This week's drama.
Sell out, sell.
Sell out, sell.
With your fancy fucking intro.
Yeah. Look at that.
Going up in the world.
Yeah. And I actually probably.
Yeah, well, I was just saying that, like, our optics abortions were funny and intentional. Hey, listen, your generalization about, like, is directly targeting me.
Sandwich Bash just realised what the title's all about.
When we talked about meth nationalism, right? It was a joke. Like when we coined that, it was a joke. Like someone wasn't meant to become the living meme of it. I don't drink. I just put like lots of rocks, funny crumbly rocks up my anus.
Oh dear, it's just like, she's the worst car crash ever, isn't she?
Who's gonna want her at any event now? Like what? What an abortion!
She's just fucking having a dig at anyone and everyone, isn't she?
He seems to have fallen out with pretty much everybody. Yeah.
Believe me, you can still purchase your ticket. Believe me, Lacey.
These meth head people.
These people on the megabus.
Adam says she's streaming now. In the chat.
Streaming or screaming? Both.
Probably both.
Don't be. This is my next speech. Don't be that meth head. First there was that guy. Now there's that meth head.
Get to the back of the megabus. North Heathen, Sucky Hall Street.
Listen, I can't even do. No, he held himself really well. Like I would have just told her to shut the fuck up.
So who's that?
What is her deal?
Oh, she was screaming at Mark Collett, was she? Oh no, was that?
Yeah.
Was she?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, she was. Yeah.
Oh dear. No, I've missed all this. What's the TLDR on screaming at Mark Collett then?
She fell out with Unwashed because he looks like the guy who's like I don't know, like ran
Flashbacks
off
or something.
her mum when she was like
Was
2.
was it flashback?
He looks
creepy
like
creepy stepdad. Oh dear.
I mean, I thought he was okay, but like I don't know. There's a lot of infighting, and I know like we used to really get off on that, but it's not funny when the serious people do it. It's just sad. You know?
It's not funny when you're doing it
Like,
seriously.
when we ddid it, it was part of the show. It was part of the joke, right?
Could you imagine? Like a 15-page rambling meth-soaked email? Can you imagine what that reads like?
The thing is,
Lacey, give me your fresh email. Listen. Meth soaked fucking handwritten letter.
I think she starts a lot of these fights. I think people feel obliged to like respond to her and stuff because he seems to have fallen out with pretty much everyone she's come in contact with. So
All I can say, she must have fucked a fair section of our movement, and that's why they have to listen to her because she's probably got the pictures or the video.
oh no, don't go there, man.
Oh, like a certain guy who has literally everyone in the movement snoot.
Yeah, a certain guy who's no longer in the movement.
Yeah, that was good. Good times. But like, what? Yeah, what the fuck? Like, I mean, the thing is that like, she's a lol cow, but like, she's not a troll. That's what makes it sad.
It's just...
it's like not hiding anonymously. Like it. Oh my god, it's like, aren't the
fucking
Adams. I remember the comments. Just
Adams remind me a bit from the Steam earlier. He was showing a video, and they raped a woman. They put a stick in her hole. Did you hear that? I don't even know who she was talking about. She was about raping a
Meth
girl by putting
nationalism
stick in all her
2020.
holes.
Like, listen, I want the legalization of illicit drugs and prostitution.
Legalise meth when? So what is the current law with the hooker advert? Because I think it's changed. It's not disgruntled next anymore, is it?
No, I mean, this is someone who belongs on kiwi farms. Like, she is not well. She needs help. It's like just sabotaging. I don't know.
I would love to see you on a stream with a girl, I tell you.
Oh God, I don't even. I think I just feel bad. I'd be like, this person is. It's funny if you call someone who's like Sagan a retard, but like calling her like she actually is unwell. It's not funny.
It is.
Well, yeah, well, it's sort of, but you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
it's more. It's just sort of like it's an easy target, you know.
Yes, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Is that the old expression?
Yeah.
It's more like having an animal in a cage and poking it with a stick, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it's just like something like really, really cruel.
You're free to come and like imagine having her at an event. Jesus Christ.
Oh, just meth fueled
Like-
ramblings. I'd love to hear one of her speeches. I reckon that'd be fucking awesome.
Let's one time you said something about a bus stop, and like when I was what the fuck? Like I had a bad experience at a bus stop one time. So you're mentioning that like that.
It's like 1 minute we're moaning that 1.0
Meth- the
of
meth-
bad opt.
Method megabus.
Megabus. It's like 1 minute we're moaning that 1.0 are bad optics, and then we just got literal fucking meth head hookers in the movement.
Oh, like the parody, the clown world writes itself. Yeah.
What we've got to do, guys, is we've got to get our optics on point. So here we are. Here's Lacey, our resident meth head hooker.
Believe me, I was looking up at the movement. It seemed like it was attracting normal, healthy people. You just got her, like fucking ruining it, tagging a lot, like holy shit.
Because she's now saying that unwashed is a fed, isn't she? That's what she's saying now.
Yeah, that's the latest in the narrative. Yeah.
Well,
How was this kicked off again, though?
I got to
Because
spit.
it seemed to. How was this kicked off again? Because it seemed to have died down for a brief period. There wasn't much activity on her front, and all of a sudden it seemed to have exploded in the
I
past
have no
couple of
idea
days.
why they fell out. It's just sad. Like the whole thing, man. It's just sad.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrying. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, it's not exactly a. It is fun to have a laugh, but the thing is, you say about poking like someone poking a bear with a stick or something in a cage. The thing is, it's like she sort of like looks for the argument, so you have to go back and then poke her with a stick again because
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to want to go away. She doesn't seem to want to sit in the corner and just like keep it calm for a couple of months. She seems to
Yeah,
want the
that's the thing.
attention.
How do you deal with crazy?
You
Like,
can't. You
it's not
don't.
something you consider.
No, you
No.
definitely can't, mate. Absolutely. Emmy's just disappeared for a.
They're coming to take me away. Ha! They're coming.
I've seen a few of her videos, and yeah, I don't
Bad
have.
webcam dox
Yeah.
yourself. Like, yeah. I thought the whole thing was like, don't dox yourself because it's silly, and you know, in public, like you're not gonna have a good time. And then just these new faces, like, ah, fuck it.
I think she just. I don't know because she was associated with the Tommy Robinson movement, I believe. I'm not.
I know what you can do.
There are a lot
Guys,
more
if
people.
you dox yourself, move to Vietnam, get a Vietnamese white foo, save the white race that way.
That sounds like a line from Morgoth when he was having a go. What's his face? There's so many people in our movement now, mate. I lose track of who's who and what's doing what and what they're up to.
Well, Morgoth's cool as fuck, isn't he?
Oh, Morgoth's a good lad. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Morgoth's a good lad. I think he was on a stream with. Was it Dangerfield? He was on a stream with, and he just let rip into Dangerfield for like 20 minutes, half an hour about what you just said. I haven't got a clue what Hemi's up to. He's got all the stories as well, so I couldn't tell you what's next on the agenda.
I can't stay for long, but yeah, I just wanted to chip in on that. So I'm gonna have to leave. So I'm sorry about that, lads. But it was cool catching up with you and getting a chance to come on once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have
but
a good New Year, mate.
cheers. See ya.
See you later, mate. And now I'm talking to myself. Pretty Anyone else want to jump on the stream? Because literally no one wants to listen to me talk, like, ramble on. Absolutely not, mate. I don't think anyone's gonna listen to me. I think Unwashed is doing a stream a bit later on. I think Hemi's on that, but he seems to have disappeared from his own stream for at least a couple of minutes. I don't know where Grief is. No, I'm not sure where he is. I don't know if he was planning to come on for a little bit. Yeah, no, it's not StreamYard, mate. It's on Discord. So if you've got a Discord account, then you can pop on, but no, it's not StreamYard.
Sorry, mate, escaped dog.
Oh, the dog escaped.
Yeah. Where's Garrot? Is he gone?
He just disappeared, and people have had to listen to me just talk, which is really shit for them. So the numbers have probably dropped by about 50%, mate. Did you catch the dog?
Yeah, he's
all
alright.
him and...
15 people can are on Discord. We're on Discord, Northeast and Heathen. Actually, if anyone wants to join.
Yeah, I just mentioned that, but I said it was on Discord. If you've got an account, then you're welcome to pop on. But yeah, Garrot said he wanted to talk about the Lacey thing, and then he's off. So
is that all you wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh dear,
Yeah.
blimey.
Yeah.
Right, so what have we got to talk about in the stories? We've got some quite good stuff come out, haven't we? Oh yeah, the anti-Semitic attacks. Have you seen that one?
Yes, was it the ones in London? And now they're now debating over the meaning of them as well. It's
kind of weird, isn't it? Because it's a Star of David and 9/11, so I didn't know whether our friends in the small hats were trying to point it towards the Muslims.
Someone tried to say it was to do with crystal nut or something like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
oh, God.
Honestly, there was a big debate on Twitter. I don't know what came up because they were referenced the 9/11 thing, and then they said if you reversed it, I don't know when crystal nut was. My history and is not too sharp, but they were referring to the fact that it could be to do with that on 9/11.
Well, why did they smash the second smallest pane of glass in the odd bins? If you're an evil, vicious, Nazi racist, surely you'd take out the big windows, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, in this day and age, with all the goings on and all this, that, the other, when you see it, the first thing that pops into your mind is like, it's a load of bollocks. But it's hard to it's either a bunch of idiots just being stupid, or it's an inside thing. And it's not the real deal.
It's the first thing that comes to mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much what comes to my mind. Or you think perhaps this is a bunch of fucking idiots just having a bit of fun, just pissing around, being stupid. But it's definitely not kind of like if you're deadly serious, that's just not the way you go about things. Do you know what I mean? That's
It's like
weird.
it's like
It's a load of
they've also
bollocks.
sent like a confusing message, hasn't he? Haven't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
a clear message, is it?
No, if you're going to spray things like that, which, it's, to me, it's just a waste of time anyway. But if you're going to do things like that, you'd put a point across, wouldn't you? You'd come across with something a lot more substantial than that. But
Something a little less
obviously, the
enigmatic.
people, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of thought process has gone into it, has it? Well, maybe there has, but if it's the older,
So
what we think it
Belsize,
could be.
I think Grief described Belsize Park as about a tenner a pint.
All right, okay. Okay.
so it's kind
Okay.
of right. So graffiti
Yeah,
sprayed onto the buildings using red and purple paint. They also use purple paint as well.
Yeah,
9/11
I'd quick look at.
possibly a reference to conspiracy theory that Jews were involved in the 2001 terror attacks. Police were called shortly before midnight. No arrests have been made yet. Follows attack at a rabbi's home in New York, which 5 people were stabbed as they celebrated Hanukkah. Didn't that turn out to be some sort of drug? That's a black guy did that one, didn't he?
Yes,
The rabbi
that's
stabbing.
right, yeah, yeah. It was a black bloke. Yeah,
Uh,
that's the thing. I mean, you look at those pictures, and it's just I don't know. Like I said, it's unless I don't think there'll be any arrests. I think it will just like there'll be some kind of big. It's a way of just bringing it up again, isn't it? Just to remind us of what's it's all about, really. To be honest, but
yeah. It's kind of
every time I
weird.
see a story like that,
Star of David in 9/11. It's just odd, isn't it?
it doesn't make any sense. Like you said, if you're going to be someone who was going to do this kind of thing to make a statement, you'd make more of a statement than just that.
Well, you'd make a statement. I mean, at the moment they've made no
Yeah.
statement because people don't
That's it.
understand
it's
what it
just
is, what it's for, what it means.
Unless there's someone sitting at home going, bollocks, fucking hell. My intention has been misinterpreted. I should have thought this through better or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's to kind of give us pause because normally we just go, oh, I hail Hortler, laugh it off, don't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I look at them and they're not exactly like you say, they're not exactly awe-inspiring, are they? Just be honest, it's not.
Yeah,
It's something that's going to be, I would say, quickly forgotten. But I can imagine there'll be something else will pop up to take its place.
It's weird. The weird thing, actually, looking at it, the weird thing they've done is that the downward triangle looks like part of a pentagram, doesn't it? That's the kind of weird part about it, because it's supposed to be like two equilateral triangles, isn't it? But the one that's pointing downwards is pointing downwards like it's more like the start of a pentagram, isn't it?
Is that like that scene in American Werewolf in London when they're in the pub?
What's that on the wall?
What's that on the wall?
You made me miss.
Yeah. It does look like it. It does look a bit like it, doesn't it?
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah, it's just a bit weird, isn't it?
Unless they're a fan of the old 1990s pop group 911, I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
911. They're fans of 911 and their manager.
Yeah, they're trying to make a bit of a comeback, so this is the way of free publicity.
Oh, I'll tell you what. If you look at the one on the odd bins, are they showing that the Jewish triangle split up 911?
That's it. But,
the Jewish triangle is actually separating the 9 and 11, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
So
whereabouts in London was all this? Did you say?
Belsize Park and let's have a look. Hampstead and Belsize Park.
There was the reason Adam put in the chat. Sorry, Adam, I just missed it. It says 9th to 10th of November was Crystal Nut. So if you reverse, obviously, if you reverse the two numbers, you get the same kind of correlation with 9/11. 11.
Well, that's 9th of November, isn't it?
Almost.
With our days,
yes,
that's isn't it?
Yes, so you get that. So yes, I can see where more confusion lies.
Yeah, probably a Mossad psyop. And no, it's probably just the rabbi. What you doing, Rabbi?
Oh my Lord.
Oh dear. What else have we got in here? Oh, I've got some pictorial stuff. If you want to look at the article a little further up, worst Christmas dinners ever pictured. Shame Hobbit's not here. He likes a rough-looking dinner, doesn't he?
Where's this in potential stories?
Yeah. Yeah, you've got there's some proper sorry-looking dinners in this one. So that one's not. That's a nice one at top, and then first one you come across.
45! Freedom!
Yeah, so visually, one of the ladies.
Crappy video. I love an auto-playing video, don't you?
Hello, what was that?
Yeah, look at these sorry-looking dinners. Can you imagine, like, do you like a bit of garlic bread with your roast dinner? Do you, Mosley?
Oh yeah, I'm always having that. Every Christmas, I sit down, I say to my mum, there you go, love. Can you make sure you got a bit of garlic bread to go with it? Because I'm always missing that with mixing it with my old
No
Yorkshire
gravy.
pudding. Yeah,
No gravy.
I know.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Right.
So this next one is
My mum's not a fan of gravy.
It's two Aunt Bessie's Yorkshire puddings, like the tiniest bit of turkey you've ever seen. Half of the plate is baked beans, and then there's a little dollop of tomato sauce on the side.
Tomato sauce and roast dinner. Wow.
It's not a roast
beans.
dinner because it's half baked beans. So it's like half of the plate's baked beans. You got 2 roast Yorkies and a couple of sorry-looking slices of turkey.
Yeah, undercooked turkey, baked beans, some weird-looking tomato sauce, and a couple of Yorkshire puddings.
How about this then? Two roasties. Looks like a bit of pork, bit of chicken, extremely burnt pigs in blankets, pasta and gravy. Dry twist pasta and gravy.
Where are these things dished up?
People's dinners, and they've actually put it on Instagram.
This is my Christmas dinner.
I'm not mentioning the buffet one because that's obviously just someone's been to a buffet, but wow. That's grim. I mean, imagine that though. You've been looking forward to your Christmas dinner all year, and you get something like that. Yeah,
can you imagine that? You've the guy's worked hard all year. He's got his Christmas dinner. He's just done all the work, and he sits down and he gets served pasta, turkey, or pasta and beef. Is it beef? Oh my
God knows.
That's the worst one, mate.
Unidentifiable
on a roast.
Yeah. Oh dear. So.
Does anyone know what the statistics are for like food poisoning around Christmas? Because I think it's quite high. I think it's pretty high. Like the amount of people that undercook their chicken or turkey. Yeah. I was coming across on Christmas morning. I was going through like a bit of Twitter and stuff like that. I come across. I don't know if anyone saw it. It was this guy put it on a turkey that he'd got from Aldi. And it actually made me really.
The green one. I saw
it
the green.
It was green and black. Oh my fucking Lord! I mean, the smell must have been absolutely horrendous when he opened it.
He said there was like a huge smell of ammonia, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, so if he was to have pasta on Christmas Day because he had nothing else to pick, then that would be probably a bit understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah. Unless you've got some dodgy turkey that you've bought from Aldi, then I don't think there's much excuse for not having the old traditional dinner.
They say about how to avoid food poisoning. I haven't found any stats yet.
How to avoid food poisoning? Yeah, like the amount of people, that undercooked. I've read that. I don't know where it was. Many years ago, I read this article where this old couple had kept this goose and it'd been like 3 months in the fridge, and they ate it, and they got this chronic it was all full of parasites. Oh God, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I've read stories like that before. Yeah, I bet that was entertaining.
No, I can't actually find any.
No, I know it's a pretty decent proportion because the amount of people that undercook like the white meat generally. So
I found one about food.
Sometimes
food
I get
poisoning down to 49 at a Christmas party. I don't even know where the hell this is. Backlod City, which is Barangay, Mao, Bago City, Negros Occidental. I don't even know where the fuck that is.
No, I haven't got a clue either, mate.
But 49 got done on that one. Panay News. I don't know where the fuck Panay is either.
I saw something. Was it Indonesia where people were dying from alcohol they've been drinking? Was it Indonesia? I Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's wrong because that's a Muslim country.
Where they buy the fucking cheap shit that sends you blind.
Yeah, well, this was killing people. It was in the Far East, I think. And
Have you seen this
yeah,
story?
it was people...
MI6 has lost the floor plan. A building contractor has lost the floor plans to MI6.
Well, that's brilliant. So, like, you know, secret intelligence service, and the plans go for a flipping walkabout.
Floor plans of MI6's central London headquarters were lost by building contractors during a refurbishment. The documents, most of which were recovered inside the building, held the sensitive information on the layout, including entry and exit points. Balfour Beatty are in the shit for this one. The company working on the refurbishment at the headquarters in Vauxhall is reportedly no longer working on the project. Foreign Office said it did not comment on intelligent matters. Documents which went missing a few weeks ago were produced and owned by Balfour Beatty and designed to be used for the refurbishment. They're not classified or intelligence documents, but they did hold sensitive details. So I should think though it was like a need to know. I should think it looks like it had very little information, but what information it did seem to be quite important.
Yeah, so that's absolutely wonderful, and you know the state of the security services really, you know.
Fucking hell. The BBC reported earlier this month that Balfour Beatty's order book for 2019 was expected to be more than 14 billion.
Wow. Huge company, yeah. Well, you'd expect when it's a company like that to be a bit more careful with, especially when they're dealing with a MI6, but obviously not.
I should think that was more than likely intentional rather than accidental, isn't it? I would assume.
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? Because if it was accidental, then you know you wonder who the hell's in charge and who the hell's sorting these things. And if, like you say, it's actually probably better if it was an inside job, to be honest, because it'd be a lot more explainable to the to superiors if that was the case.
Did you catch this story in Salon magazine that says that Hallmark movies are fascist propaganda?
Yeah. There's too many white people in Hallmark movies.
Especially
I think
Christmas
that came
ones.
about. Yeah, I think that came about, didn't they? Because didn't they pull some advertising or something happened to do with like a same-sex couple kiss or something, and they pulled that show from their programming. I don't know the full story because it sort of escalated.
So it's the gay it's the State Department of the Nation of Gay. Then is it? Is that who's going after it?
Yeah, and then it sort of escalated, and then people were going, "Oh, while we're at it, there's too many white people in these Hallmark movies." So it's sort of like snowballed from there. So
the opening thing makes me laugh. It says, "Forget the triumph of the will. The most insidious authoritarian propaganda comes in the form of schmaltz."
Yeah, having not been a connoisseur of Hallmark movies, unsurprisingly, I can't say that I've can comment too much on it, but I can imagine having seen the odd trailer when you're watching Sky or something like that. They do try to go for the more wholesome kind of film, don't they? It's a bit quaint maybe, and perhaps that's the issue.
Well, they're very, very inoffensive, aren't they? I think is probably what they actually go for, don't they?
Yeah. It's like tame as tame can be kind of thing. So yeah.
Right. So it says here the cable TV behemoth, which has been minting money with its patented holiday seasons schmaltz, drew widespread criticism earlier this month when it pulled ads for wedding company Zola that featured a lesbian couple kissing at their wedding.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I watched Star Wars a couple of days ago.
Oh, you went to watch Star Wars?
No, I had to
see it.
I believe it's called a review copy. If you know what I mean.
I see. Yes. Okay. Yes. But you still wasted how long is the film? 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
2 and a bit hours. It's better than the previous effort, but obviously it's still pretty mind-numbingly bad. To be honest, I think the plot holes offended me more than any. I mean, it's nowhere near as woke as The Last Jedi. I mean, it was absolute damage control.
I've never seen any of the new Disney ones. I've obviously seen the original, and I've seen the 3 prequel films. with Ewan McGregor, etc. And I thought a couple of them were pretty bad. So I sort of like jumped off at that stage, thinking, I don't know how
This can't
bad these
get-
Disney films are going to be.
Well,
But
the
yeah,
Dis-
but
the
obviously
Disney-
it's got a lot worse.
The Disney films make the Lucas prequels look like Kino.
All right, okay, right, look like masterpieces. Yeah.
Really good looking because obviously J.J. Abrams directs the first one, so it's like loads of lens flare. There's some really great visual effects, but the storylines are just like crap.
Yeah. Was he the guy that directed the Star Trek films, the new ones?
Yeah,
Is that the same? Yeah, that's right. Because I saw the first two of the new Star Trek films, and I know that pissed off the Star Trek fans because they said it wasn't Star Trek. But
to be fair to
hoping-
be fair, Abrahams did the right thing with that because he went, right, we're changing the timeline, which means technically you can still have the old Star Trek, can't you? So I think from that he started it. He started off on quite a good idea because then he started off by not alienating anybody. I think the problem is that all this shit that he's made with these last three movies is canon, which makes it kind of bad. Which means you can't walk it back at all, can you?
If you want my honest opinion with the Star Wars films, I mean he's been told exactly what to do from the executives and
Well, it seems
these
it
feminist
seems to be that
script writers.
that Kathleen Kennedy seems to wield the power there, doesn't she? Because she seems to.
Yeah.
She yay or nays it, doesn't she? So I'd say she's probably to blame. She's probably to blame for a good load of it, because she was actually quoted as saying, "Well, the shame with Star Wars is that there's no material to go off, but you've got like 20, 30 years of expanded universe stuff that she just completely ignored."
It could have been, and these modern Disney films could have been fantastic sci-fi films. You know, they could have been groundbreaking, but instead they just produced this kind of like social justice kind of like agenda in it. You know, they push all these crappy narratives instead of just telling a story about you know good versus evil in the galaxy. You know, fights, lightsaber fights. You know, big battles between things. You know what the original films were all about. You know, a fun film, a fun trilogy. And they've just completely fucking ballsed it up. And it's, to me, it's still going to make a lot of money. Obviously, these films aren't going to do too bad, at the box office. But they really missed a great opportunity.
I did read. I think word of mouth is obviously getting out that they're not absolute cancer. So I did read that takings are starting to go up with it now.
Right. Okay. So it's so the original weekend.
Literally, all they've got to do is get over like the extremely low bar of the previous effort, haven't they? So it's just they haven't got.
So how many films is it now? Right. So excluding the first three and the prequels.
If you're going for absolute basic, it's 9, isn't it? It's 9 plus.
Is it 9 now? Is it
plus A New Hope? Sorry, it's 9 plus Rogue One and Star Solo, isn't it?
Right. Okay.
So it's 11.
All right, 11 films in total. Right. Okay. Well, like I say, I mean, I really enjoyed the first three. I'm not massively into my sci-fi, but I actually really enjoyed the first three kind of films because
they were your classic good and evil, hero's journey, all that jazz.
But they've got some great lines in it. The characters, you got the Emperor, Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker in the fight, like you say, good versus evil, and the story. It's even though it's pretty basic, if you really look at it, it's
what they've actually done. Are you actually planning on watching Star Wars? And even if you do, you don't care about the end, do you?
I don't care. I mean, you have to. Certain people might in the chat. I don't know, but
yeah. Spoiler alert.
I'm not too bothered.
Spoiler alert. Basically, what J.J. Abrams has done is, if you watch Star Wars and then you watch the prequels, it's supposed to be about Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that Rey is actually the Emperor's granddaughter. So what? And Ben Skywalker, Ben Solo dies. So basically, they've turned the trilogy from being about about the Skywalkers to being about the Palpatines. They've literally subverted the trilogy.
Why do they do this with films? I mean, the Terminator film's a classic one. I refuse to go and see this new one because to me the first two are like, again, pretty. I love Terminator 1 and number 2, but they basically kill off John Connor in this new one within the first like few minutes with no dialogue basically whatsoever, and they
Oh, do they?
basically
Yeah,
just
but
flush the Yep.
he's evil at the end of Genesis, isn't it? Does it carry on from Genesis? Does it?
No, well, the original storyline was supposed to be obviously 1, 2, then 3, and then they obviously moved it on with Salvation, but that sort of got binned because the production company went bust, and then they went back to Genesis, whatever it is fucking called, and that wasn't to do with the storyline, I don't believe at all, because that was an alternate story timeline because of the this, that, and the other. But then this new one is supposed to be the sequel to Terminator 2. This new one. So basically, they ditch all the other films, 3, Genesis, and Salvation. They all get ditched. And so basically, you kill off John Connor, the guy who's been the focal point of the first 2 films, the leader of the human resistance. And you just kill him off, and you put a female character in place of that straight away. And then wonder why it bombs at the box office. It's just it's really confusing. They did it with Ghostbusters. That was just a fucking abomination of a film. Every film they try and influence.
I don't think they're even going to attempt to resurrect that franchise, though, are they? That side of it.
Well, there's a new Ghostbusters.
There's a new Ghostbusters out, but I mean the female side of it. That's dead, isn't it? That's never coming back, is it?
Thankfully, yeah, we can all be thankful for that.
We killed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it deserved it because it was atrocious. I mean, the CGI looked like something out of like a mid-90s computer game, didn't it? I mean, it was fucking awful. But yeah, they seem to get everything they get hold of. They seem to like destroy. Instead of just telling the story and making a good action film like the Terminator films are supposed to be, you just have to influence it or try and input your stupid.
Do you remember that one? Do you remember that really terrible third one where he was wearing the star sunglasses? And said talk to the hand. Do you remember that was cringe, man?
Yeah, but that actually compared to this new one is like a classic. Apparently, in comparison, this new one is.
It must be bad.
Yeah, they reckon the action scenes are good, but apart from that, the plot is just absolutely woeful. I might venture it. Look at it when it comes out on to watch for free or something.
When it's on ITV2.
Yeah, well, it's like with about 10,000 hours worth of adverts. Yeah, watch it. Yeah, I can't. I love the first 2, like I say, but after that, it's gone downhill. It seems to be falling off the edge of a cliff now.
I think everything is. I mean, the only real franchise that's I'm saying at the moment that Star Wars that Marvel are ducking the trend, but the next phase I should imagine is going to be like super woke, isn't it? Aren't they talking about Black Magneto and Xavier, aren't they, or something?
Yeah, I had read something along those lines. I know they were trying to introduce, and I'm not sure what universe that was supposed to be, or what they introduce a gay character or something. I'm not entirely sure because I get lost with the amount of like.
I think this is where you see the end of the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
because it's gonna get woke and it's gonna go broke because nobody wants to watch kids characters kissing.
No, it's the films are about just lots of explosions, CGI. They're supposed to be fun movies. You don't need a narrative.
Good versus evil, black hats versus white hats, isn't it? That's what it's supposed to be.
People go to the cinema not to be lectured about politics, unless you go and see a political film. You don't want to go to the cinema, to be lectured in the middle of like you say, a Marvel film about sexuality or some kind of social justice agenda or whatever you want to call it. You go there because you want to switch your brain off for 3 hours or whatever it is and just have a bit of fun. And
what you really want is something like Indiana Jones, complete like nonsense hokum. It's just kind of, but it's like those days are far, far behind us now, aren't they? It's like everything has to have an agenda and it has to be a political message in everything, doesn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, like you say, Indiana Jones, it's just nonsense, but it's just fun. That's why they were so successful. Well, the first 3 were anyway, because they were just about a guy who goes off and has loads of adventures. Gets the woman.
Natsock Saxon as weighed in on Terminator 3. It was peak 2000s, as in it was fucking terrible and cringe.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Spot on. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that at all. Yeah, I mean, you look at some films. I mean, I don't know who I was messaging the other day about The Sopranos, And even though that was like late 90s, early 2000s, the show like that wouldn't get made. And if it was to get made, it'd be some
Certainly
awful
not,
guys.
Certainly not Tony's speech about FBI crime statistics.
No, yeah, that's right. The scene that makes me laugh is when Meadow brings back Noah, the worst, most awful character in the entire character in the entire series. And it's just the face of Gandolfini makes, when he comes in the room, and it's like someone slapped him with a fish. And it's brilliant though, and the way he deals with the situation when Meadow goes upstairs to go and get something, it basically tells him to get out and not come back. Yeah, that scene. The first time I saw that, even all those years ago, I found that quite amusing.
Meadow never did have a decent taste in men in that show, did she? Because who was it? Was it Jackie's son, weren't it? The guy who dies of cancer at the very start. His son turned out to be a right piece of shit, didn't he? Was it Tony that shot him, or Tony just gave the order? I can't remember.
Tony gave the order. Well, no, Tony made Ralphie sort the order out. It was the fat guy, Vito, that did it in the housing project. He shoots him in the head, and then she got off. Then she went with Finn, the Irish bloke. He was in that, and that didn't work out very well. But I tell you what, if you listen to some of the lines in that program, it's they wouldn't get written nowadays. Especially the scene. God. I don't know.
Lacey's still the subject in chat. Adam said, I think he needs to debate Lacey on a stream. Dino said, "Nah, mate, nobody needs to debate Lacey on a stream."
No, well, you can't debate her on a stream because she just starts shouting at you, and you just get overwhelmed. You try and talk, and she just talks.
You were there, weren't you? The infamous Niall stream, weren't you?
Yeah, I was listening to. I wasn't on there, fortunately. I remember having to listen to it and thinking, "Flipping hell." Yeah, I mean, Niall opened his mouth, right or wrong, whatever you want to disagree with on that. But yeah, she went off on it, pretty much.
What did Niall? Was it when Niall with his usual "nobody cares about the rape gangs" comment?
Yeah, I think that was. I'm trying to think back to exactly what was said, because I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm not gonna quote someone. But yeah, it was kind of like to do with that. He basically said that the situation was not over, but wasn't as bad as it was, and she flew off the deep end, quite literally, and then Brutus kicked him off the stream. So yeah.
It's like, why not kick the person off who does the screech? I don't know. Brutus has got some sort of like messiah complex, anywhere he has to wash the feet of this particular meth-addicted hooker.
I don't know the situation, and I'm not going to speculate because that would be gossiping. But I really don't know what the story is behind it. But Brutus does have a soft spot for her, and whether that's her backstory or what, I don't know. But I'm not gonna speculate because that wouldn't be right.
Publicly, he says that it's because he kind of she had a rough childhood, which like with the drug abuse and the hooking would like. She shows all the classic signs of someone who was abused when they were younger, doesn't she?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah.
So I can kind of see his point on that, but the thing is, she's in people's faces.
Yes, absolutely.
People, so she has to be dealt with summarily, doesn't she?
Well, what I don't
Hello,
Mr. Hobbit. There you are. You've just missed it. We're discussing. I don't suppose you know any of the current Lacey goings on, do you, Hobbit?
Oh no, I don't. Don't worry. I'll listen to the stream and figure. Suffice to say, a woman who's involved in drama happened.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You know that hooker that Brutus was white knighting?
Yes.
That's her. That's Lacey.
Yes.
And there's been some happenings, and even Mark Collins had to get involved and have words with her. It's turning into a massive shit show.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Why did Mark Collett get involved of all people?
I don't know. This is the bit I forgot to ask mostly, because you know this bit, don't you, mostly?
No. I did see a bit in the chat. I mean, the reason is, Hobbit, is that Lacey has called Unwashed. He's in our Telegram group. She called him a Fed. And, she seemed to call everyone a Fed who she falls out with. And I think there was a stream, and Mark Collett was on the stream, and she ended up screaming and shouting at him. What I can gather, because I've only listened to bits of it, because there's only so much I can actually tolerate, to be honest, without I'm just like sort my ears out afterwards. But,
so in other words, everyone I dislike is either a 4x2 or a Fed.
Yes, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. I too had a good Christmas.
I haven't spoken to you since before Christmas. How was your Christmas? Was it a good one? Oh no,
Yeah,
you
I did roast
came on.
gammon.
You came on the drunk Christmas. Was it Boxing Day or Christmas Day stream?
We don't speak of such things.
Oh, okay.
Where's
Capstan?
Yeah,
Have you spoke to Capstan since before Christmas?
we don't speak of such things. Well, all I know is he hasn't challenged me to a game of Rome Total War yet, so I'm thinking, in Vena Veritas, except there's also empty boasts.
Yeah, I haven't. When's the last time I had a reply from him? Last Thursday was the last time I had a.
Oh, I got a message from him. He was telling me about this MGTOW movie, and I was pretty much on board with what the guy had to say, right up until the last 4 minutes, and then he was saying, your problem's not the 4x2s, and so, yeah, I clicked off then.
What MGTOW movie is this then?
He was...
Because we said... Because I had a review copy, as I'll call it, of the latest Star Wars film, and
yeah,
not as bad as the second one
screener.
is the glowing review that I'll give of it.
And that's not an endorsement. Is it really?
Wait, they made a movie of Tekken.
What?
You said the Tekken movie? It's not as bad as the Tekken movie.
No, I said not.
I know they've done a movie of
Star Wars.
Ah, okay. I know they've done a Street Fighter as well as a
the rise of Palpatine, and there you go. There's the spoiler.
Luke, new Luke. I'm your father. No, wait, I'm your great uncle.
Yes,
I'm your second cousin.
No. It turns out that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter.
Oh, it was Luke's father all along.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, lads. The thing is, though, no matter how bad the Star Wars films are, they can never be as bad as Super Mario Brothers.
I like that film. You take that back.
Yeah, there is quite a growing number of people that ironically like the Mario Brothers movie.
I don't ironically like it. I watched it as a kid and I thought this is a good movie.
Yeah, don't watch it back then. If you've watched it as a kid, do not go back and revisit it, mate, because it won't. You'll ruin your moment of your childhood moments then.
Oh, well, you say that, and
I'll tell you a film not to watch again is The Birds, because that is fucking awful.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I loved The Birds back in the day. Watched it recently. Oh my god, do I wish I hadn't.
Yeah, I think you get that. I think we've covered this before. I think you get these films that in your mind they're really good, and then when you go and then you watch them, and you're like, oh shit, I should never have watched that again because that was fucking awful.
Have you ever seen the stop motion version of? It's made by some Czech animator of Alice in Wonderland.
No.
His name's one of those Czech names that's impronounceable, but the first part of it is Jan.
Yeah.
And so Jan did this stop motion thing with like a taxidermied rabbit, white rabbit, and Alice has been Alice is being chased by like socks with like sawdust coming out of them, and she chased after people with tailor's scissors and lots of stuffing happening. There's like a screaming frog baby. I loved that as a kid, but watching it again, I was just like, this film is not suitable for children. In fact, I don't think it's suitable for adults. I'm starting to wonder, like, if Tito had like this weaponized, he's like, oh, MK Ultra sounds like a good idea. I could have commissioned stop motion animators to make something like that. Something got lost in translation, and he heard like, hey, let's do these disturbing stuff to fuck people up. Not like, you do this disturbing stuff to fuck people up so you get psychic soldiers.
Do you remember in the good old days of TV when they go, oh, we've got 10 minutes spare now, so we'll just put on this Czech or Russian animation, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Do you remember those?
Can't say. I can't say I've seen many, But
that's probably where my uncle saw this Alice in Wonderland. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to buy the Betamax of this."
The Betamax.
Betamax was better than some of the later VHS. VHS was shit.
That's the thing. It's never who's best wins. It's who can get the product to market, mass market the product. The problem with Sony is they want to retain control of everything, and that's where the problem is, isn't it?
Yeah. There we go. I found it. It's called Neko Zlinky, and I assume that's like Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. Alice is a 1988 dark fantasy film written and directed by Jens Vergingen. Its originally a Czech title is Alice in Wonderland, which means something from Alice. That was myself. I heard myself.
Yeah, that was me. I was just opening something.
Oh, well, there you go. And I posted the other film called The Matrix Behind the Matrix, and the salient point of the 1 hour 38-minute documentary is that the blue pill is a conscious choice of will for ignorance, and those people resent you trying to red pill them, so don't do it.
It's a long time since I've seen The Matrix. A long time.
Yeah, I think the actual Matrix has been a long time. I actually, everyone slags off the second one, but I think that's really good. I think it's a really good film because of that, the motorway chase and the craft that actually had to go into it to make that motorway chase. Because they actually,
it was good.
Because they actually had to build that section of motorway, didn't they, to film on?
Because it was very hyped up. I remember the first. Sorry, mate. Yeah, the first one was really kind of like it was lauded by the critics, and the problem was when the sequel came out, there was so much expectation behind it. No matter how good it was going to be, it was never going to get, never going to be good enough, so to speak. And that was the problem with the second one. But
well, the problem was they made 2 and 3 together, which I think is always a mistake. I think you should allow some room to breathe, to allow the ideas to breathe between episodes, shouldn't you?
I don't think we benefited from seeing Keanu Reeves' bum.
When did we see his bum?
In the third one, when they're in the awful place, which I'm just like, please let the robots win.
You mean Zion?
If this is what humanity's... if Stains is all that humanity's been reduced to, then just end it now. Give me the virtual reality goggles and let me pretend that this thing I'm eating is steak.
Well,
Speaking of Keanu Reeves,
yeah,
they're doing a Bill and Ted third one, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon it's going to be any good, or do we reckon it's going to be woke trash?
No.
Is Keanu Reeves going to reprise his role and the other bloke do his?
Yes, they are. They're both of them. Yeah, the main two characters in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope they get revisited by
Alex Winter back from the dead. What has Alex Winter been doing since Bill and Ted?
He hasn't been doing much, has he?
It's like, do you remember Wayne's World? You had Wayne played by that bloke who became Austin Powers, and then you got
Myers.
the other one,
Dana Carvey.
What does Dana Carvey do?
He's been trying to.
He did that sitcom, didn't he?
He's been trying to reinvigorate Wayne's World 3 for about 20 years.
Oh, has he?
He fell out with Mike Myers. Yeah, he fell out with Myers quite a while ago.
Did you know Mike Myers? Did you know Mike Myers used to be Timmy Mallet's hype man?
Really?
No.
Yeah. Mike Myers has been on Wackaday. He's done bits on Wackaday.
Oh my god!
Wackaday.
That's brilliant.
Oh,
I love that.
That's a blast from the past. That is.
Yeah.
Hitting the kids over the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's an inflatable hammer. Hits really hard.
Say blur.
Concussion.
Well, can anyone remember the rules of Mallet's Mallet? He used to do all the rules, didn't he? He went, Blair, say Blair. That's about all I remember.
I thought the rules of Too's Mallet is like, oh, I don't like the look of that kid. I'm going to hit him really fucking hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you ever heard that Jasper Carrot sketch where he's talking about when he used to do Tiswads and the kids used to annoy him? It was like, he said, I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones, a mic stand just fell on him. Right, are we ready for another story then, are we?
I think so.
This is one for you, Hobbit. Brexit and Trump tariffs causing champagne sales to decline.
Really? What
Yeah.
does that mean? Champagne's going to go on sale?
Well, the sales are going to decline. I assume they're trying to push the price up a bit, aren't they? I don't think this stuff really occurs, though, does it?
I had some. I'm not going to mention them because I don't. I mean, I wouldn't mind the sponsorship from them, but we haven't secured the sponsorship rights yet. So our team of lawyers tell me, not to mention the name. But I had some non-vintage English brutes.
Oh, nice. What, like a Carver, is it, or is Carver the Carver's the grape?
It was a blend of Pinot Noir from Kent, Hampshire, and Surrey.
Pinot Noir.
Very nice.
Pinot Noir, is that a red then? Is it? Is this a rosé then you're talking about?
Yeah, no, it was a white wine. So how can it be Pinot? Unless it was Pinot Grigio. Oh, I forget
Grigio,
what it was now.
Pinot Grigio is the white one.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking that there's Pinot the grey. What I can't remember now, but it was really nice. And what England's got a wine industry, and the stuff they produce isn't bad.
Yeah, because it's the heat you need, isn't it? And I don't think we have some fairly good summers, don't we?
Not compared to the medieval era. That's when we were really growing wine. So roll on the medieval warm period again, please.
What, bubonic plague?
Well, the bubonic plague would also be good because it would. God, I'm starting to agree with Prince Philip now. I'm thinking, you know what? If we got it down to about 11 million people in the world, would that really be so bad?
No, I'm with that train of thought, mate.
11 million Anglos.
Yep.
Maybe like 100 French chefs, just so we still got good food.
This sounds pretty confusing. So it says, as President Donald Trump targets champagne and escalating trade tussle with Europe, which has fuck all to do with us. So makers of one of France's quintessential luxuries are losing support from domestic drinkers. So basically, the product they're putting out is so overpriced and shit that even their own people aren't buying it, but we're expected to buy it. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I think so. That's the gist I get.
Corks are popping less abundantly in France, and an additional headache for champagne producers already facing the double threat of US tariffs and UK's planned exit from the EU.
I mean, what they're not saying in this is that the French wine producers have been caught slipping, and French wine is not as good as some of the other wine producing regions in the world. They've got complacent.
Well, the New World's getting quite popular, isn't it?
Austrian wines are delicious, but they won't export them, the bastards. It's like, no, we don't want to export them. A darkie might end up drinking them. They're not allowed in Austria, you see.
So, basically, I think basically the story is that France's wines are slipping, and they expect everybody to just carry on fucking paying the prices, don't they?
Well, I mean, with the French farmers, farming secondary to the primary industry, which is collecting EU government subsidies.
Mm. While globally recognised brands like LVMH's Dom Perignon and Pernod Ricard's SA Perrier Jouet have ridden a wave of export demand over the past decade. Mange 2, Rodney. Mange 2. Domestic drinkers remain key to the industry. How is this Brexit's fault that the French aren't drinking their own fucking wine? What the fuck?
Oh, it's Brexit's fault because they're like, I'm so sad I can't celebrate England's continual membership in our union, so I'm just not gonna, pop open the bubbly. Can I tell you something? This is related to Rodney. Do you know what one of the battleships that sank Bismarck was called?
No idea.
HMS Rodney. It was one of the Nelson-class battleships. Imagine you've got your ship Bismarck named after the founding father of Germany, and it's like, we've been sunk by HMS Rodney.
This is absolute bullshit. This article is.
It's the Independent now, so we have to take that into consideration, mate.
French drinkers stop drinking their own product, but it's Trump and Brexit's fault. What?
Isn't it kind of like you know how the in America they've recently been having like some fun, vibrant enrichments in the predominantly 4x2 areas, and they've been saying the people that are perpetrating this might be obsolete farm equipment, but this is how white supremacy is to blame.
Speaking of Brexit, Hemi, did you sort that copyright thing out last week?
No, basically, I'm not monetized anyway, so it doesn't really matter anyway. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, we are monetized. We're definitely getting money from Ginsters.
Yeah.
Ginsters pasty.
The only choice in pasties.
I'm still waiting for the check from Makita. I haven't had that yet.
I thought we were sponsored by Ryobi.
Is it? Oh, I haven't had a check from them either. I need to chase them up. I need to send a snotty email to Anne in accounting.
I told you we work on a weekly basis, not quarterly.
Yeah, I think I need to have it. I think they're on 90-day terms. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, typical malarkey.
Yeah, so basically,
we're not doing this out of the kindness of our hearts or like national pride. We're doing it for the money.
Exactly.
And I just want that from the outset.
So here you go. The plunge during September and October sales exacerbates a trend of falling champagne demand in France as cheaper alternatives gain traction. Volumes sold in supermarkets fell 3.5% in 2018, while foreign bubbly such as Spanish Cava and Italian Prosecco jumped 58% according to data. So basically, the French are doing a shit product, and as per usual, everyone else has got to help them out because they're putting out a shit product.
You know, I heard somebody tripped and fell up over a crooked paving stone in Brest. And as he was laying, it's like, sacre bleu, there must be somebody Brexit did this.
Yeah, there must be. You're going to have Brexit, it's going to be huge. Have you heard Benjamin Netanyahu said
it's going to be a big, beautiful Brexit?
It's called for British diplomats to be expelled from Israel.
Did nobody tell them that Jeremy Corbyn didn't win?
No, they didn't get that memo.
Benny.
Oh, okay.
Benny,
well, in that case,
Google the King David Hotel bombing.
Is Vinny going to be the new ambassador to Israel?
Yeah,
because that's what's going to happen. I don't want him to die though. So can he just be ambassador, but do it via Skype or something?
Wait, he's good friends with the Shomrim, so he'll be all right.
Oh God.
Oh, so Benjamin Netanyahu has called for British diplomats to be kicked out of Israel over a reference to the occupied Palestinian territories. If our diplomats get kicked out, does that mean we don't have to send them money anymore?
I hope so.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll probably have to increase our payments as compensation.
Did you know January was Prince Charles' first visit to
deal?
Did you know January was Prince Charles' first visit to Israel?
Really? Well, I mean, yeah. It probably was seen for a while. It's like, we can't have the royal family there because some people remember the King David Hotel.
Shots fired from BB's boy. God willing, you guys you'll be kicked out of Israel soon. The 28-year-old tweeted. Until then, I'm thinking of visiting the occupied lands of Scotland or Wales. Which do you recommend? Fucking shots fired.
It's so petulant. I mean, notice he says Wales and Scotland, but not Northern Ireland, which you could kind of sort of say.
Well, it's more of an occupied
there.
territory than the other. I mean, to be fair, the Jocks capitulated, didn't they? Because they knew we'd be a better ruler.
Yeah, it was a choice of ruling themselves or letting us do it, and it was well, can we just go back to fighting amongst ourselves, please? We're bored of fighting you lot.
Can we carry on to being Highlanders and cutting each other's heads off?
Yeah.
surprised someone hasn't tried to reboot Highlander. Actually, speaking of film reboots.
Oh, they'll probably do it once they get a diverse enough cast. Maybe once the people that did Wakanda look for another movie.
Oh, they've got a lot.
You've seen The Witcher?
No.
I watched. It was too boring.
I've seen it.
I watched the first episode.
I've seen it advertised.
It was just
But
too
it's like,
boring.
But what about the diversity? I mean, doesn't that get you excited?
I didn't even. I'm with Moik on this one. I didn't even get to that because I was just too bored.
To be fair, though, I haven't like completed or really got into The Witcher 3. That's the only one I've got of the series. So
yeah,
I don't know. But even sort of me as some sort of casual pleb who's not really interested in the games, Lauren can see like this doesn't feel authentic.
Do we want to do a completely uncontroversial article of Eric Strikers?
Not particularly.
Transgenders are 58% more likely to commit murder than be murdered.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
All right. I think that pretty much that's all you need. You don't need to go into the rest of it. Moving on.
Yeah, it kind of reads very similar to the Stormer.
So you're telling me that crazy people will go and do murders? Say it ain't so.
Where are the figures? Transsexual movements driving myth is there an epidemic of murders targeting them for their stated identities. The controlled press in America and the UK have been the main culprit in building this fictitious narrative, constantly remind us that 24 trannies were killed in 2019 as if their lives are more special than the 17 to 18,000
when they say
victims of homicide.
Those 19, was that the 19 which committed suicide? Does that count as a tranny murder?
No.
Oh, okay. Because otherwise the death toll would be significantly higher.
A human rights campaign, which meticulously tracks transgender deaths across the country, is conspicuously not tracking them when they commit crimes. But in the UK, analysts found that during a period of 2007 to 2017, transsexuals were 58% more likely to commit a murder than be murdered. There's no actual figures. Couple of bits of whataboutism. No, there's not actually a lot of
the quars.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. No, there's no actual proper figures.
So moving swiftly on.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric. I tried. I tried to introduce a bit of your MI6 floor pans. Than that. What do you think to Hallmark movies being fascist propaganda? Hobbit.
Great. More of that, please.
Do you want to talk about Lord Mountbatten's lust for young boys?
Do I have to?
Not really. It's most of it's hearsay, to be honest.
Wait, Lord Mountbatten, is that
Charlie's uncle?
Who's the guy with the
Charlie's
buggy
favourite
eyes that's
uncle.
been on Alex Jones? Oh, I was thinking of like the guy who he says global warming's a scam. He's got buggy out eyes, and he did a parachute thing because he was disinvited from some global warming thing.
Starting fucking videos.
I know that's a bit vague, but that should be enough information. Oh no, so I'm thinking of Christopher Monckton.
Here's this from the fucking Mirror. Lord Mountbatten, in scare quotes now, is a homosexual with perversion for young boys. One source described the Earl and wife Edwina as persons of extremely low morals. I mean, this is the level of evidence we're at here. Follows years of speculation. Ron Perks, who was the Earl's driver in 1948, breaks his silence to claim one of his favourite places was the Red House near Rabat, an upmarket gay brothel used by naval officers. So still, again, no proof that he was into young boys, just he was gay. Handsome young men in military uniforms, so that's young men, not children again. It's just like, the level of journalism that goes on in this country.
Well, you can't really call it. You can't call it journalism. Yeah, you can't call it journalism, can you?
It's
really?
just a load of fucking.
It's the Mirror.
But
Yeah, it's the mirror. It's all
this
spe-
stuff, this is the stuff that fuels Borzoi into whinging on about the Brits being the real Jews or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, well, he's got a soft, effeminate axe to grind with Anglos for whatever reason. Not particularly sure why, but
Show me on the doll where the Anglo touched you.
That's it, really.
This is what I tried to do the other day, but no one was really interested in it. It was how the Met Police spent nearly 14 grand on vegan meals for XR activists.
XR activists?
Extinction Rebellion, sorry.
Rebellion.
I'll just call them XR
Oh,
now.
okay.
So I'm just going to the habit of calling them XR.
14 grand. So how did they go about that? Then?
Let's have a look.
Wish someone would give me 14 grand for my dinners.
Well, they say 14 grand,
Yeah,
and
I
then they
could
go
get some.
between September the 30th and October 17th, a total of £4,651.09 was spent on vegan meals for activists in custody. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with journalism? What is wrong with it? It's broken.
I think
Can
the
we
problem
just
now
ban
is
journalism?
they've got so many stories they have to fill. They just make up bullshit and just hope to God they get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Without
looking for this
getting
extra
sued,
10 grand.
slander.
I think it's when you split it up between the different periods. But it's like, why are they ordering vegan stuff in? They're not under. If they're in the cells, because basically the idea was they all decided to get arrested and refuse bail to overwhelm the police stations.
Hmm.
One of the group's stated aims
suppose,
was to
yeah.
take police resources to breaking point.
Well, that was a really good idea. So don't worry about all the other crimes like burglaries, rapes, murders, assaults,
Yeah.
acid attacks.
Well,
This-
then they
this-
could.
Well, all
They
you
will
need
take it away.
is tear
Probably they could
gas,
say,
tear gas, truncheons, water cannons, and then let them go on their way. Don't arrest them.
What you
Well,
mean, like
surely-
you mean like policing how it should be?
Mm.
Yeah.
If they-
If you got, sorry,
I would have gone with malicious compliance and that. It's like, congratulations, you have now broken our resources. We can't afford to feed you anything other than porridge or bread and water. Your choice. They're both vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no milk in your porridge
How about
because
this
that
one
wouldn't
then?
be vegan.
Between July the 8th and 19th, a total of £991.20 was spent on vegan meals alone, and this rose to and then I don't know what that means by this rose to, whether they spent an extra 15 quid or what, but this rose to 1,002.96 between August 16th and 23rd.
I could just imagine some prison food caterer typing into Google, "Is gold leaf vegan?"
It seems like it, don't it? Why don't they just give them toad in the hole and say, look, you don't have to eat the fucking sausage. Just leave the sausage.
yeah,
in
take
the
the
you
box."
just,
sausage,
you know-
take the sausage out, and everyone's a winner.
Just
Yeah.
cut around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. It's fucking It's vegetarian. We've told you what's meat. Fuck off. Eat it or don't.
The thing is, the problem is if they didn't supply these fucking idiots with like proper vegan food, you'll probably find they'd be like getting these like lawyers involved and suing the bloody police force and the criminal
Implying
justice
that
system.
any food can be both vegan and proper. Pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no time for these people. Like I said, they're trying to divert police resources. When real crimes are taking place because they want to dance around the streets of London. Irritating the working class who're just trying to get about their daily business.
They estimate here so far the force has spent 16 million on policing XR protest action in April and 24 million and counting on the autumn uprising. Well, rubber bullets, tear gas, water cannons. I think that needs to be fair game, doesn't it? It needs to be fair game now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've seen some policing methods in Brazil recently. That's the way to go.
Yeah,
I also think we
Bolsonaro
could do
said
with
you're right.
automating the rubber bullet dispensers. Like the army has these automated 40mm grenade launchers, and rubber bullets are 40mm. I'm sure they could be adapted to fire rubber bullets. Just saying, if there's a riot control situation and you need an extra safety riot weapon dispenser to be there, I'm free on weekends.
Why are they so scared? Why are they scared to use force now because you look at the '80s riots, with the miners'
Yeah,
strikes and things like that.
I just
Poll
need to
tax.
address this one. A Forza, yeah, Yorkshire pudding's made with milk. So yeah, I realised that just after I said it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they're not frightened to use force when it's someone they know is not backed by the state. But the police have intelligence reports, and it's like, yeah, treat them with kid gloves, otherwise you'll be losing your jobs. Yeah, I know they're a pain in the ass, but you've got to go softly with them.
Yeah, I know they're going to disrupt the biggest city in England and disrupt all the, people's work and livelihoods. But fuck them kind of attitude, isn't it?
I mean, the French police are showing that they're quite happy to rapture people's eyes with water cannon if they're wearing yellow vest. But if it's an ooga booga going like, "Hey, you're not giving me enough gibs."
The worst thing about this lot, mate, is they're like middle class fucking bloody wannabe hippies, aren't they? Most of them, they're like white.
Weaponized middle class guilt is what is destroying this country.
You're saying
I don't know what the middle class is in America, but it's like weaponized. It's weaponized middle class guilt that's fucking us both sides of the ocean, because they are these people's biggest. They are the Trojan horse, aren't they?
Could you tell me what the difference is between a wannabe middle class hippie and an actual middle class hippie?
A wannabe one who likes to play at it, a bit of a larper. Do you know what I mean? You see them on. I've seen footage of. It's quite clear that they're like almost playing dress up, mate. Do you know what I mean? They're like their everyday life. They're probably some kind of like banker or something.
Don't they call them trustafarians?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like
every day.
Trust fund babies that have dreadlocks, aren't they?
Well, yeah, that sounds to me like all of them then.
Yeah, but there are some who just like lie around in, who aren't from that kind of ilk and kind of like lie around in trees all day and protest about every single thing they can get their hands on. Whereas this kind of lot, like they've got, like you say, like Hemi says, kind of like trust fund. They don't really do much in the week apart from just spend daddy or mummy's money, and then they decide this seems a bit of a jolly up to get wear kind of lairish clothes, smoke a bit of weed, and generally piss off the working class in London. So yeah, I've got no time for them. They piss me off something chronic, this lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely it's the guilt, isn't it? That's they're in on these people, isn't it? Making them feel guilty.
I sort of got about 3 words of that conversation that you're.
Oh my, yeah.
There, mate.
Am I still playing up?
Yeah, I thought we had dead air, but I was just talking over the top of you because I went hello.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. What were you saying? Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I was just saying it's the weaponized guilt, isn't it? That's what they do. That the middle classes have got. It's like the jig is up for them, isn't it? They've realised they're absolutely fucking useless. And
the thing is that, sorry, I'll say this: there are certain like elements of like say like minority groups of people who don't really have issues, but like you say, it's the people like the white middle class who take up issues for them. If you see what I mean, where there isn't an issue, they'll create one. Just to create this white guilt kind of thing, like, and it always comes from the middle class. And sometimes it's just fabricated out of nothing, and then it snowballs, and then it does create a situation when there wasn't one in the first place.
Well, I mean, if you think about the way this all happened, I mean, most of this happened through the universities, didn't it? It was that was the main in, wasn't it? And that's where they made these people feel guilty because the middle class they may have had some sort of. If they're kind of sliding upper class, they probably had family that made money out of colonialism and stuff like that, and that's how they made them start feeling guilty, didn't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yes, that's another sore subject. This university kind of like attitude as well, isn't it? Kind of like you see these people having to apologise, and I think we covered this a few weeks ago with like certain universities paying money out to
was it
people
St Andrews
in the Bahamas or wherever it is.
Wasn't it St Andrews that paid out recently? They got some guilt bucks out of them, didn't they? Was it? I know it was in Scotland. I can't remember which one it was.
There's been a couple. I know one of the big universities is going to start like a payment package towards something for like compensation or something to certain families and groups of people, and it's just I saw a tweet about slavery the other day. It was basically insinuating that we started the slave trade, and the only reason we stopped the slave trade because it wasn't profitable anymore. Then there might be some truth to that with the slavery thing, but we were the first European nation to stop slavery. But we certainly weren't the nation that invented slavery. That had been going on a long, long time before before this country was ever a
that's
country, a nation state.
That's what Saxon says in chat. He said, these types of people both fetishise and despise the working class. They walk around LARPing as the common man, but if they ever actually come across a working class person, they treat them with complete disgust.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
it's kind of. I mean, if you want to know how these people think, just listen to the words of "common people" by Pulp, because that's what this is all about.
When it comes to slavery, the 4x2 and the Arab slavers, which went to the west coast to pick up slaves, they weren't going into Africa to get the slaves. No, the mechanical diggers were quite happy to, come up and have a look at our agricultural section, and they. And that's where it is. So they just have their coast towns where they'd have slavery and pick up the slaves. And...
So what about us? What about people on the south coast of England and in Cornwall, when, like you say, you had the Arabs who come along and kidnap people and just literally take them into slavery and take them.
Well, there was no auctions there. The Berbers were just quite happy to rape and steal people and take them back. And
so where's our compensation? That's what I want to know. I want some compensation.
Oh no, you don't get that because you're a colonizer. No.
Boo.
But it's like, why are the blacks even not remotely animated about when the Arabs used to literally cut the fucking wedding tackle off and make them march to the destination, and those that lived? Because
Black Panther 2, The Revengeancing, hasn't been released yet. That's why. I did a film treatment and I put my name as Dracarius Jackson on it just to say, this is like. There's a sequel to Black Panther, and I said I don't want any royalties for it. I don't want any recognition. You can even replace my name on there. I just want the truth to get out there.
What does he do? What does he do? Level Abu Dhabi or something? Does?
So Mr. Kanda sort of goes there and it's like you are still doing slavery.
I hope he had the African the we was Vikings in it as well. Well, they were my favourite bit. The we was Vikings. Have you seen Black Panther Hobbit?
With the white women's as their wives, and
the Vikings.
But the other thing is, he's got because he's doing a bit of voodoo magic on them. He's got William Wilberforce's head on the spike, and so just to scare them because he did the Emancipation along with his mate John Newton, who was a slaver. But he had, being a Christian man, he was like, "Oh, you know what? I think we should stop with this unsavory business."
The thing is, when you talk about slavery to someone like David Lammy or something like that, he'll be going on about repatriations, and this kind of stuff like that, and compensation for all this. And then
not mandatory castration done when they go get sold in Arab markets.
No, but the moment you say, "Well, what about the Arab slave trade?" and it's like,
it's just like a child. That's just whataboutery.
Yeah, or it's like they'll stick their fingers in their ears and go la la. And anyway, as I was saying, and that's what you get. You can bring up all the evidence, the facts, and all the figures, and you still will go, yeah, but, and it will be, I'm not talking about that, or like I say, just act like a child and just completely ignore it. So yeah, it's one of those things. The thing is, if you look at slavery throughout the world, everyone's done it. Everyone has done it to someone else in some shape, manner, or form. So it's not like it's a new thing that was suddenly invented by the British or the English or whatever. So to me, it's just bollocks, and we need to move on from it.
Not the Israelis, though. They never enslaved anyone. They have guest visas for the Palestinian workers.
Is Hemi talking? Because I can't hear.
I don't hear him.
Sorry, no, I was listening to a voice message from Unwashed because I'm on. Looks like I'm on all night for the quiz of the year.
So you're in other words, you're disposed this evening. So how long's that for? 7 till 10?
Yeah, that's why I'm starting early. Basically, we're doing warm up for Unwashed.
Who else have you got early. On with?
Jackson's coming on. Apparently, I've just had a message from him. I'm taking the place of OTO, so I'm gonna have to come on and go. Hi guys. Hi guys, I'm Hemi.
I live in the Far East.
Rice burner nationalism now.
I can't do it like Capstan does it. Capstan does it.
Yeah, that's because Capstan lives not far from him anyway, so he's already got half of the accent.
Oh,
That's
right,
why
okay.
he's so good at it.
Yeah, he does a good impression. That is good.
Yeah. That's basically because he doesn't really have to do one. That's why.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Yeah. So, should we do? We advertised it. So, shall we? Do we want to redo some food stories? Our favourite food stories of the year.
Yeah, go on then.
Let's find them.
Speaking of food, I need to pause for dinner.
Oh, for fuck's sake! This is your bit, Hobbit.
Yeah, this was your intro. This was your moment to shine.
Yeah, we're gonna do Laura. Oh, he's a fucking nightmare, isn't he?
Can't stuffing my face IRL.
We were going to talk about the mashed potatoes. I'll tell you what we can do. Actually, I've never done
Roast
this.
potatoes.
Roast potatoes. Is that how it goes, Hobbit? Story I've just put at the bottom of potential stories.
Okay.
This is a great article. This is one that me and Geralt did on. This is like this is one that me and Geralt did on JDLE, and it's just like something that never happened. You got it open yet?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
You sort of went in and out there, mate. I got like the first part of the sentence, and then I don't know if chat can hear you but I did quite catch 3/4 of it.
Let's have a look. No, I'm broadcasting now. I should be broadcasting. Okay, must be. So you can't hear me?
I can hear you now, but it was really kind of like. It was
right. Did I vanish?
You sort of went in and out, and then you sort of stopped.
Oh right. Am I right now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly well now.
Cool. Nice one. Yeah, so this story here it's my label, me, I'm Muslim, and you will not erase my humanity. I thought the idea of being Muslim was humanity gets erased. It's Friday.
When was this from?
This is quite an old one. This is Thursday, the 11th of April. This is one we did on JDLE. This is a good one to talk about and take to bits. It's Friday night. I'm on a late train home from Birmingham to London. The carriage is full of tired faces of commuters trying to ease the work week off them, and drunken slurs from those who choose to drink it down in cans of Foster's bought just for the journey. There are two white men sitting opposite me, and they are strange spots of paleness amongst the sea of colour. It's like it sounds a bit like a victory lap, doesn't it?
Yeah, and straight away you're like, if this had been the other way around, we'd have never heard the end of it. She's basically just taken, pot shots at white people straight away, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah. Right, so there are two white men, For once, most of us are black and brown, with our skin shining against bright outfits such as green and red hijabs of the group of Muslim women behind me are wearing. The two Englishmen have suddenly found themselves in Africa, with Nigeria to the right of them, Sudan to the left, and Egypt, in front. This is quite funny because what she does is she'll set something up and then she'll like completely say the opposite a little bit later on.
Yeah.
They are loud and drunk and crush beer cans in between their conversation that no one wants to have. They interrupt us time and time again. Nigeria tells them where he's from, and they talk about jerk chicken, saying they get it from Tesco. So what she said, I think it's later on she says it, but what she'll do, she'll pull them up for assuming where she's from, but she's just assumed where Nigeria is from. And Sudan tells them where they're from, but they see headscarves and hear only Muslim. They joke about the Taliban and ask what ISIS really want. But you look at that picture of her halfway down with her tits are hanging out and her fucking legs on show. That's some real Muslim behaviour, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, This sounds like a. I mean, it's just the Metro, obviously, but it sounds like a Guardian journalist. You know, they
It
do
does.
mental gymnastics. They'll say one thing in the article, like you say, and then they'll contradict themselves completely. You know, about 3 or 4 paragraphs down. Yeah, it must be difficult to live like them because they're literally looking for an argument, confrontation at every single juncture in life, whether it's at a train station, work, whatever. It's constant looking for a.
Yeah. She can't even take a. She can't even take a train journey without being oppressed, can she?
Yeah, just get on the train. Just get on the train. Sit there with your music in your ear, or read the paper,
Or
or
talk
on your
to
phone.
somebody.
Or talk to somebody, and just talk about the weather. You know, yeah, the weather's been a bit crap recently. And yeah, you know, don't have to have a political agenda every time you get on a train or where. It must be really kind of like hard work to be these people. They must get mentally tired pretty quickly.
I exchange looks with the women and we roll eyes together, our silence in entire language. They ask me where I'm from and I curtly reply, London. If you remember from further up, she describes herself as Egypt, doesn't she?
Yeah, there you go. Straight away, within several paragraphs, she's contradicted what she said, just to suit what the agenda at that current period is, you know, and how it nails, you know, the white man down. Yeah.
The colour of my skin doesn't look like... This is what she admits. She says, the colour of my skin doesn't look like London, and they insist, no, where are you from? So immediately she admits she doesn't look like London. She calls herself Egypt, but she gets offended when they say, no, where are you from?
So basically, they're being quite polite, having a few drinks. They're not being offensive. They're saying, oh, so, you know, where are you from then? Yeah, so it's just a question that if someone said to me if I was... you know, abroad somewhere, you know, so where are you from? I'd say England.
I'd say there's a fair chance that she has an accent as well, doesn't she?
Yeah. And there's no need to take offense just because someone asks you where you're from. Sometimes I don't think those people are saying, oh, where are you from to be derogatory. They're probably just asking that, again, to create conversation on a train, on the commute home after a hard day's work. Do you know what I mean? Just to, you know, pass the time.
So she says, I tell them I'm half Egyptian and half Irish. They roar loudly in appreciation before telling me how exotic I am. They also ask if I've ridden a camel.
Now that is quite funny.
Oh, you're exotic, aren't you? Is that what they said? This is totally made up, isn't it?
You sure this is not like a parody paper or something like, you know, I don't know. Is it the Onion?
Well, I don't know. What did Caper used to call the Metro? The NPC Daily, didn't he?
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
Then they say that I'm a good-looking lass, and I see the fantasy in their eyes. So you
can't take a compliment.
So they're looking at her and they see she sees sexual fantasy. They want to bang her. So they in turn see the anger in mine and call me feisty, telling me how they like feisty women. This is just
hang on. So
awful.
So either they don't like her or they do. If they're paying her a compliment and they fancy this woman, then obviously they don't see a negative side to it. So they're not, all the comments that come before it have not been a slur or derogatory towards her. So in actual fact, it's actually a compliment to her from these two guys. So there's no story here whatsoever, apart from the fact that she needs to make up bullshit about probably something that never happened, or if it did happen, they were actually being very supportive and being very complimentary to this one.
Yeah.
So either way, fucking hell.
This is why I love this article. Because it shows you how they think.
If I go on a train, I just sit there and, you know, I don't see a political agenda in everything, every single thing I see. You know? Yeah. Oh, so these people be nice to you, and you just knock them down several pegs. That's great. Thanks for that.
So anyway, I am too tired and on my own, so I say nothing and bow my head back to my book. The journey continues this way, us trying to mind our business, and them constantly and aggressively trying to pull words from us. Over the course of the train ride, we are rebranded, labelled something new. Terrorist, exotic, foreign. So because these two lads were spurned by a brown, that's it, they turn. Because they're evil.
Yes, because they're evil, and they just had a few too many bevies, and, you know, and doing what most blokes do, no matter what race they are. You know, if they have a few too many shandies together, you know, they start to get a bit loud, which is generally what happens.
We get off the train
I mean,
with new names we never asked for and identities that have been given to us. I want to tell them that my label is writer, poet, feminist, freedom fighter. Those are the names and labels I wear on my chest with fright. What freedom is she fighting for exactly by running away to England?
yeah, obviously some of the issues that women do face in like places like Egypt, wouldn't it be better to say I'm going to support their cause by going to help these people rather than virtue signaling in a national newspaper which panders to your every need.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. She's so oppressed that she gets to write about her thoughts, however real or not, in a newspaper. That's how oppressed she is by this country.
Could you imagine if that was a white guy, say, being on a train and there was I don't know, a group of Asians or a group of whatever giving him racial slurs, and he went to the editor and goes, "Oh, I want to write an article about my experiences and my race." They'd tell him to fuck off. Do you know what I mean? So don't be stupid, mate. Fuck off.
Instead,
we've all been on a train, haven't we? We've all been on a train with a bunch of pissed up idiots, and you're thinking, "Oh, for fuck's sake, shut up." Do you know what I mean? But you don't start writing for the Guardian or the Metro about it.
And so she says, instead, I'm now part of a terrorist group that they are afraid of, but a woman they will fantasize over late at night when the alcohol has dried up and the music has stopped playing. That's the things with labels. They are wonderful and empowering when you're the one choosing them. They're an opportunity to be a new person, become a different human, and grow yourself in diverse ways.
Hang on a minute. Earlier on in the article, she labelled them two pale white guys. Was it something in the sea of colour? Was that her words? Hang on.
Yeah,
she's just labelled those two guys, pretty heavily. And then at the end of the article, she said labels should be torn down. So fucking brilliant, really, isn't it? Again, another contradiction.
It's
Do they proofread these articles, or they just tell the journalist if you want to call them journalists, to write the article and then just have it published? Because they can't possibly.
I assume it's different with the Metro because they're. I mean, do they publish 7 days a week or is it just 5? I don't know.
I don't know. Generally, when I've been on a train,
it's free, so there's got to be some cost cutting involved, which means I think they're just happy to have the column inches. I don't know whether this actually made it into the paper or whether it's just online. I don't know.
Do you think though that when the old days, you'd get the editor would go through articles or have sub editors and they'd go through the articles to proofread them and stuff? Do you think now they get these kind of like women that come in, and especially if you're a bloke, do you think they're too scared to actually proofread it and say, you need to cut this bit, and this bit, because literally they'll find their head on the chopping block and out of a job, which is what I can imagine happens quite a lot. Or you've got to a point now where there isn't any guys who get to decide what gets picked and what doesn't in the majority of these newspapers.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? I tell
what makes me laugh. Frightened.
It's so they're refreshing, rejuvenating, and become a rallying cry. Your own shout for independence and freedom. In essence, it allows you to craft your own identity and image. Is the subtext of this anybody can be a Londoner? That kind of that really shitty campaign they did.
You cut out a bit again, mate. For me.
Oh, sorry.
I
anybody can be a Londoner was basically it's the way she says you can craft your own identity and image.
That sort of reminds me of that video. You've probably seen it, the one with that black girl screaming and shouting that she's not English but she's a Londoner. That sort of reminds me of that kind of attitude. I'm not English, but I'm a Londoner. I hate being English, but I love being from London. Kind of attitude. Well,
there's in a couple of sentences' time there is actually proof that they don't proofread these things. They can be really beautiful things, but the minute you're excluded from the process of choosing your label is the same instant they transform into something else completely. They become heavy and distorted, a yoke around your neck, and as a yoke as in egg yolk. Isn't yoke spelt Y-O-K-E, isn't it?
Yolks in egg yolk is spelled Y-O-K, is it not?
Y-O-L-K. But I'm sure the yolk she's talking about is a part of is like an animal's harness, isn't it? And I'm pretty sure that's spelled Y-O-K-E, isn't it?
Yes, sorry, yeah. But then again, if I was writing an article and I was, not sure about how to spell, I get this thing called a dictionary, right? I pick it up and I go, oh yeah, that's how it's spelled. But obviously that bypasses the modern day journalist.
Where was I? yoke around
And
your
if you
neck.
look at the
At various
if you look at the
intervals,
grammar as well.
At various intervals, I've been given labels: terrorist, exotic, sinner, extremist, oriental, jihadi, and fanatic. It's like half of these is like, yeah, right, as if you've actually been called a terrorist by anybody other than a 5-year-old child or something.
Yeah, and there's like, well, you can go online and call me a colonizer, a gammon, a bigot, blah blah blah, and get away with it scot free and carry on and say what you want about me or the English people. Yet someone makes a compliment on a train, and they're the biggest kind of like white supremacist, since the dawn of time. So it's just like it's the old rule, innit? Excuse me, one rule for one for the other kind of.
Yeah. It's just...
I want to know who reads the Metro, because it's flipping terrible.
Hello, I'm back now.
You're back now.
Welcome back.
I'm gonna have to go in a bit because
The
I should be getting a link from Unwashed at some point.
That's true. So do we have time to just do 2019 in retrospective? Here's a deep dive into Toby Carvery.
Toby Carvery. No, we were just...
Toby Carvery.
Yeah, can do. Do you want to go into Toby Carvery? I know Laura's your favourite personality of 2019, isn't she?
She deserves the award for most concerned female 2019. Toby Carvery.
The links in chat. I did put it a bit lower. I've just got to find it. Hold on a second.
Oh, was it in potential stories?
Yeah. Hold on a sec. I'll just...
Oh, I found it. It's from the Mirror.
That's the one.
Oh, I suppose that. Yeah.
That's actually in the weird news
there's
section of
Laura. Laura Heskett.
Laura, what
Heskett
a beauty!
With the one flattering.
So what's wrong with the roast potatoes?
What a beauty!
Well, this is one of those things which Brexit is.
What a oversized glasses.
I don't know how Brexit is involved in this, but it definitely is somehow. So
it's got to be, mate. It's got to be.
Problem glasses, Joker.
An outrage. Yeah.
You know she likes anal sex, don't you?
Oh, is it by is that the earrings? Sort of to give an indication how dilated a bumhole is. She's giving you like fair warning before you
okay.
part the curtains.
Is that they're not earrings? They're a gauge for the type of size of cock that a fucking pussy can take. Now.
Don't. Well, like tossing a sausage down an alleyway or something.
Chipolated down the wind tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, carry on with the article, mate.
Oh dear.
Right, so this article, and by the way, I'm going to have to scroll past one of the images because it's really offensive.
What,
I think
that potato with the...
mayonnaise and gravy. Just, no, you pick one or you get flogged. Outraged dinos. So, this really is the most important story of 2019, and I think it needs to be... I need to clear my mouth of Clementine segments before I do it. An outraged diner has caused a row about the perfect potatoes after being served up disgusting roasties. As disgusting as a minge. In Toby Carvery, Laura Heskett was gutted when her party was offered. I hate journalists and like their stock phrases like gutted. But when her party were offered the blackened and burnt potatoes as part of their £6.49 all-you-can-eat roast dinner. She took to social media to voice her anger, but others have leaped to the chain's defence saying they love the potatoes nice and crispy. She posted a photo of her meal with the caption, "Toby Carvery expects us to eat roasties like this." She went on, in between like swallowing mouthfuls of gravy and, helping herself to a spare pint or two of mayonnaise. And the ones that came out looked okay, but they expected everyone to eat these first. There was no other choice. When she's saying there's no other choice, what she's saying is, I'm a fat bin and the idea of leaving food out offends me. Please don't insult my intelligence by thinking I would pick these over nicer ones. But she did. Obviously, the whole lot looked like this. Trust me. I picked the least burnt ones, believe it or not. Clearly, these were the... Oh, come on. She's fat, and she's got, like, you know, her voice has got to push up for a gallon of lard. Clearly, these were the potatoes they were serving. Even the waitress was disgusted. Yeah, she was disgusted in your fat face and gave us one meal free.
I'll tell you what, mate, they are the worst roast potatoes I've ever seen. They look like charcoal, for fuck's sake. Look.
Oh, you're not on Laura's side, are you?
I'm sorry, but
are you working for the fat bench?
I couldn't eat them, mate. I tell you, especially with the mayonnaise mixed in with the gravy.
Oh, please, mate. I'm trying to enjoy this delicious clementine in between reading.
It looks like an explosion.
It's the one thing I look forward to this year is seasonal clementines, which we get from
with mayonnaise.
Clementina Stan or wherever it comes from. But she says, but Laura, who works for the NHS Fatties department, ate the meal in Toby Branch and Ramsgate.
Well, she still ate it, didn't she?
So despite how disgusting it was, and, you know, she's like, oh, I'll take that one free meal ticket token. She ate it, and she was accused by several mind you, of making it up. I mean, the state this country is in, when we're accusing her of making it up, this is Brexit. Dino
in the comments said, what happened to Little Chef, mate? Because Little Chef, I'll tell you what happened to Little Chef. You go in there and get a crap breakfast for 11 quid. Fuck, you know, it's all.
Right, I'm gonna have to close up now because I've got the link from Unwashed.
Oh, TLDR, the potatoes were all right, and everyone else was just like, "Shut up, you fat bin." And I think we can